to get a couple of these deep red ones because it really became clear that the rich red that I'm going for with this tomato soup is necessary to have these deep red, deep red tomatoes. Let's go. All right, so we're roasting. Okay, so that's gonna fit in the oven. All right, tomato. All right, garlic. And more garlic, more tomatoes. All right, we're still cutting tomatoes. I know it's crazy. All right, here we go. De-seed, tomato. All right, I'm gonna have to cut this thing. Oh man, I didn't want to, but I'm gonna have to. Oh yeah. Okay, let's go. Some more. There's so many seeds now at this point. But once again, look at us going strong. We're continuing to go strong. Yet another tomato. All right, so now the roasting of the shallots. Oh yeah. This is really, I'm a big fan of shallots, but I only use them when I'm roasting or doing a fennel soup. But right, so now we've got our shallots. We're gonna quick cut, toss that in there. Now nothing's precious in this roasting process. You just have to make sure you cut through. Oh man, get everything cleaned up a little bit. Clean that baby. If there's anything that shouldn't be roasting, get it out of your hair. Okay. Boom. All right. So now we're in our garlic. Okay. Everybody's living there. Okay. Good. All right. So now this is the heirloom that we are going to add to this. I know these are watery, but we are going to reduce down our soup. I am cutting this finally. Oh yeah, so it's such a strange thing. We always talk about we didn't have heirloom tomatoes when we were kids. Like the soil was rich, the tomatoes were just kissed by the sun and so sweet and delicious, and it really sustained us through winter. I mean, we canned like nobody's business. And usually if I wasn't doing a live with this, I would be canning. I'd be making a passata, like a, kind of a deep, I would can, a tomato paste that I could use for different various things. But this soup is the sun is always shining tomato soup in honor of the sunshine just kissing and growing. This like food literally grows on trees. And now we are, oh man, I'm sorry it's taking so long to de-seed. I didn't realize the de-seeding would be so crazy, but it really is. And then lastly, oh man, I really love this. All right, how many sprigs of oregano would you put in? I know what I'm gonna put in. I'm gonna keep it a secret. No, I'm not gonna keep it a secret. I'm gonna throw in a good five sprigs of oregano. So the oregano's in there now. And now we got our thyme, went crazy again, but I'm going to do the thyme, 5 sprigs in there. Wow, this already smells like such an amazing, oh my God, what a delicious thing. Oh wait, another rogue tomato. Oh man, they're everywhere. Let's go, tomato. I mean, once again, if you're making tomato soup, you want to have as much fun with your tomatoes as possible. I know there was like the angry orange or whatever, but this is just like a joy. Look at it, it's already smiling. All right, so again, you don't have to do the seeds this way at the beginning of this process. I'm doing it because we're not going to have the luxury of it later. And all right, that's cut out. All right, perfect. So then we're dropping these babies in. Oh my God, what a delight. Now, I need some salt also. I like to throw a little salty and pepper into this. We have some olive oil, which we're just going to naturally pour in there now. Nice, feels right. Okay, and obviously I'm still using my hands. Boom. Okay, that's yikes. You know what? I'm gonna use another. I'm gonna roast another shallot in this process, and then now the tomatoes are still coming. I can't believe it. We still have more tomatoes. It's more tomatoes. Oh my gosh. All right, let's. I wasn't able to figure out if I'm able to follow people while I'm doing the live or whatever. So let's get ourselves in this follow. Like if you see people that have joined, like follow them. If you know how, like definitely do it. You know, because we're here to be in community. I had such a, you know, anytime I'm feeling down or, you know, I whip out, you know, the soup. And the concept I wrote this book, Everything is Soup, because every day I'm making tea. This is soup. Is pudding soup? I'm glad you asked. Yes, it is. You know, we are literally in our primordial loving when we are making soup. Like it's our interaction, it's our mirror for how wonderful our life is going. So, all right, so this has really become super messy. So I'm gonna get my, oh my God, man, I can't believe it. Oh Lord. It's been a while. It's been a while before I put this thing on, but yeah, man, this is some crazy stuff right now. All right, so I've got my apron, and now I am heading into, what else do I need? Oh, you know what I forgot? Is the red pepper. So now this is my final ingredient. Obviously, you got to core and seed this as well. The skin we can address later. But so, yeah, so I'm just de-seeding and taking the, boom, cut that up with my hands. All right, I happen to like a little spice, so I'm thinking that I'm gonna add, well, you know what? No, I'm gonna roast this with, oh, I forgot one other thing. I got some Roma tomatoes to add to the mix. Because, you know what? The more tomatoes, the merrier. All right, this is The Sun is Always Shining. Tomato soup from my cookbook, Everything is Soup. Sicilian Wisdom. Oh good, we're at 400 now finally. So it's Sicilian Wisdom, Nourishment, and Recipes for a Delicious Life. All right, so now we go. So my Romas, I have now de-seeded. Boom, I'm chucked it in there. Now I might add a little bit more olive oil because, woo, that's some serious olive oil. All right, and I talked earlier in this live about, I happen to love these little tomatillos. So I have it because I'm also going to do another soup, which salsa, a tomatilla salsa. But I'm going to roast 2 of these, or maybe 4 of these in the roasting, because you know what? It develops some beautiful flavors. I'm going to throw some more oregano in there. Boom. All right. And these I don't de-seed because they actually, oh yeah. So this is some wild stuff. I'm just saying, like, this is gonna roast for 20 minutes, 400 degrees, and then we're gonna get to work on our cleanup. And all right, I'm back. That was some crazy times back there. So now we're sweating, now we're cooking, now we're living our best lives. And once again, if anybody wants to follow whoever's watching the live, if anybody has any questions, you know, now would be a good time to ask them as I kind of do a little cleanup. It got a little wild there I got a little excited with my time. I had a good time. All right, so yes, the container of life. All right, so I did not, you'll be grateful, like I actually realized that some members of my family are not spicy spice fans. So usually I throw in a red pepper, a red hot spicy pepper for myself if I'm making the soup. But this is going to be a community soup, which we're going to share. And so you want to really respect the boundaries of people's spice level, because when you're feeding community, you really want delicious and healing, and you want it to be full of just life. And a little spice is nice, but who loves soup doesn't have that spicy palate. So we just want to keep them in mind as we move through this. And I'm going to keep cleaning as I'm talking now about the book. That was didn't pre-prep anything, thinking it would go pretty smoothly, but all the tomatoes rolled off the counter when I was trying to find my phone to do the live. I thought I was able to do this with my MacBook, but it is literally only on the phone. So now we're in like kind of the messy cleanup phase before we start this next round. Now, once again, I didn't use this, and I'm going to have to figure out like some buffalo mozzarella or something to use this for live. If anybody has any suggestions. It's like it grew so crazily that it's like, I mean, I should just toss it in the soup, but just not feeling that particular tomato, and it's okay. That tomato has something else it's going to do. So if we take a quick look here, like this is crazy town. We are 1,000%. Oh look, I have some more garlics that didn't make it. The oregano is like really everywhere. Oh, it's too bad. Almost there, everybody. Another tomato. I think I'm gonna have to make something else with I'm gonna have to do something else. Wait, let me get this roasted. Let me toss this in there. Damn, guys, I forgot a tomato. All right, so this baby, that's going in there. Okay, this one's going in there. You know, you can use a spoon, you can use your hands, you can use whatever's clever for your own cooking sensibilities. But this is the real deal. All right, so I'll do a shake of that in a little bit. I feel like, you know how you have a murder scene when you do pomegranates, the seeds and the juice, which my mom would not be pumped that I didn't use her method for kind of getting the seeds and the skins off of those tomatoes before she would do her work on the stove with this recipe. I like to roast this recipe. You can choose either path. It's kind of choose your own adventure. Sometimes I think it's easier to roast it and then develop it on the stove and then use your emulsifier to create like your, final form of the soup. Wow. All right. So this is the oregano. I guess I'm going to have to find a new home for the oregano. All right. So that's living there. Oh man, is everybody just hanging out? What are we all doing? Let's go. Okay, so I'm gonna disappear for a second as I throw away and clean up. We were able to get a nice loaf of bread from Bubba and Grandma's that we're gonna make into like our little anchovy garlic bread, and this stuff is so delicious. They're in Glendale. They've been baking bread for so long. They really worth checking out, Bub and Grandma's. But we'll be using that to dunk our ultimate tomato soup. All right, so I set the timer. We're looking at 20 minutes. And now in the meantime, I'm going to show you copy. All right, so here we are. Thelma's middle name was Rose, and so every time I see roses, I think about my grandmother and all that she taught me. As I said, this is Everything is Soup, Sicilian wisdom, nourishment, and recipes for a delicious life. Now I'm going to show you a picture of what we are striving towards. So this is our hero soup. This is the tomato with its rich golden luscious, definitely ready for prime time soup. And all of the tomatoes, all of the garlic, all of our key ingredients are going to come together in this roast. They're going to develop their flavors in ways that can only happen when working in community. And together, these tomatoes are going to really be something. And they're going to like really bring a lot of smiles to people's faces. And as we move through the rest of the recipe, we're going to come to a true harmony with our food. And I have blessed these guys throughout the day, and I've kind of gotten some tips from people as far as making a beautiful tomato soup to share. And, you know, as I said, as I'm zipping through, this recipe is called The Sun is Always Shining tomato soup. And that's kind of like from the backyard in the sunshine. The sun is shining all over the place, tomato soup. So this story comes from, comes from the deepest place. I have an older brother who is one of the kindest, nicest, most, smartest person on the planet. And I'm blessed to be like the younger, like sidekick to his powerful, sunny, smiling, always has a great idea. And did I mention super smart? So I used to obviously irritate him. And when, it really got to a place where he had to like come to a place where it was like the little sister, it's not a little brother, so I can't do everything that he can do. But I literally tried in every tomboy way that you can try to, and looked up to my big brother. And, when I would irritate him so much and he wouldn't play with me anymore, my mom took me into the garden and said, we're gonna harvest these tomatoes and you can hang out with me. And so this recipe is really the moment when I had to give up, I'm gonna be like my big brother, and I had to turn into the garden to be learn the things from my mother that would be important. And one of them, she loved her garden, she loved tomatoes. And this recipe is an homage to all my matriarchal lineage. And the ingredients for this, we like to use unsalted butter. A good olive oil is absolutely what I'm using today. I probably will. I got some good unsalted butter, so I will definitely chuck that into the mix. I'm just gonna click on some of these say hi's. I don't actually. There's I have no followers and no subscribers kind of thing, and I don't want to scare anybody by just attempting to set up now. So I've got I've got some super fans. I got a fan club identity. I haven't done this stuff. I haven't set it up. So perhaps we'll get ourselves in there. All right, we're gonna call the star, submit fan club name. Let's see what we got. So ingredients. Oops, now I just broke something. Just gonna wait. Those are motorcyclists zipping by. All right, sent TikTok universe to Teapot. So it seems like there's some interacting going on in the, I'm just playing with some filters here, just trying to get myself, let's see, though, there's like things you can do to improve your face. So interesting. All right, so this is kind of zero. I got myself into a tomatoes and more tomatoes. All right, so moving into the soup recipe. We're getting, oh, I gotta, hold on, I gotta move this. All right, I'm just over here. Hello. I'm just roasting. I'm just giving it a good turn. As the turn, I'm allowing it to do its thing. The garlic is something. Oh, guys, I added a bay leaf. One of the things that I'm most proud of is the neighborhood does have a bay laurel tree. So we are able to pick our own fresh bay leaves and things like that. So it's really just another amazing, amazing situation. So, like I said, for this recipe, the sun is always shining, tomato soup, honoring my mom and her love of gardening, her gardening worms, the compost, the just abundance of love that she put into making sure that we were able to can these tomatoes, and we had them through winter in northeastern Pennsylvania. And it's just, there's nothing better than arriving at the seat of your soul with ingredients you've grown and picked, and then turning them over to the high heat so that they really caramelize and become their best, most delicious selves. And in this case, we've thrown a bunch of tomatoes and that red pepper. I tucked in a bay leaf, garlic. We have these key ingredients. Tomatoes, like, to me, represent joy, speaking your truth with sweetness. My Uncle Bud had a really, he liked to jaw like nobody's business. Like, that Uncle Bud he would not stop talking. And so if you worked with him on the farm, you heard it all. Like, it was nonstop jawing. And you would, if you asked a question, you would get an incredibly detailed answer. And Uncle Bud taught me about tomatoes being fruits, and tomatoes are not native to Sicily or Italy. Tomatoes were brought over from the Americas. It was grown here and taken over to the islands. And the thing about Sicilians is we love things so deeply that we transform them into powerful ways to nourish ourselves. And so when the tomatoes arrived, to this Mediterranean section of the sea, the beauty of this fruit was so deeply embraced that Italians turned it into everything from pizza sauce to pasta sauce to soups to sofratas to the very, like I said, as we started this, the paste, the tomato paste, which obviously we could make our own, but this brand has been around since the 1800s, and it's family owned, it's double concentrated, it's from Parma, and we ran out and bought this. It's going to give us that rich, I showed you the picture of the soup at the top of the book, which is our hero. This tomato soup is the hero soup because this book really heals the matriarchal lineage. We had a lot of tough stuff that happened in the family. But yeah, so this rich red color is gonna develop from the paste. Our tomatoes they don't drop into that. They need the concentrated time and energy. So it really, in this instance, you're going to need a paste if you wanted to really deepen into that root chakra of like power and grace, that deep red color that really, to me, represents fall. And as I said, back to Uncle Bud or whatever, there's also, I asked him, like, how is a tomato a fruit? And when because we don't I don't think about it. I think about it as a vegetable. I used to as a kid, and even until I remembered that conversation with Uncle Bud. I don't know. I just didn't connect the dots. And obviously, there's some tremendous memes about tomatoes, like trying to be part of the vegetable family, but they are a fruit. So if you get a chance to check out some of that stuff, it's truly funny. And anyway, so as we move through the soup, I'm gonna just read the instructions. I'm gonna have to turn kind of away from the live, if you will, to complete the soup, and then I will follow up. All right, look at this luscious. Oh. All right, the color. It is a delicious soup. Now, damn, I always forget, but then you know what? We got our dunker. Got a Dunkin' in there. Oh yeah, that's it. Doesn't need to be pretty, people. Oh God, dunks. Oh my God.
Love is our guide. Wisdom comes and goes with the seasons. Nothing will ever take our joy from us. Gather a seat at the table, lend an ear, and know you are nourished.